Hey, welcome to the Hobo Clan. Can't believe our first video is about Weezer.
So Jackson, explain what we're doing here.
So I've been listening to Weezer for a while, like probably half of my life.
hmm
And Caleb here listened to every single Weezer album for the first time in the past couple weeks.
It was in the same stretch of like 5 days, to be specific. Yeah, I just hadn't listened to them very much. I like heard them before. I knew what they were, but I didn't. I wasn't like a fan, and so we listened to their entire discography in like a couple days. And that was a lot of Weezer in a very short time frame. But we
We were
got
very wheezed out.
yeah, but it was good. I enjoyed it a lot actually. They're not one of like my favorite bands, but they're pretty solid. There's some really good stuff in here. So the what we just talked about, the whole reason we did this is that we were curious to see as a first time listener how my rankings of the albums would compare to his, because by the end we were talking about our opinions and they were pretty different in some major ways. So
Yeah.
we're gonna see, how closely our opinions line up. I was intrigued to do this.
All right. So first we got Blue album. It was, everyone knows this one. Their first album.
Yeah,
Uh,
I had a weird experience with this album. 'Cause he remembers the first time he looked at my notes. I was very mixed on this when I first heard it, and then after like we had listened to more Weezer, we went back to this one like briefly for a refresher, and I enjoyed it so much more the second time around. I just had to get into Weezer, I guess.
that's true.
It went up in my ranking like a lot because it was not one of my favorites when I first heard it, and as we were listening to the albums, I just thought about how I liked it more and more, and it's towards the top now for me.
And just to clarify, for all the like albums that have the deluxe albums that are like studio releases, we listen to those. So we listen to like Blue Deluxe, Pinkerton, Red, Raditude, Hurley, and White. I don't think there's anything. Yeah, that's it, I think.
Is that it? I don't really remember that much.
But yeah, we listen to Blue Deluxe. So you also listen to all the extra songs like Suzanne and
Yeah, I took notes on all. I should mention I took notes on all these songs. I'm not gonna go over all the notes, but yeah,
so
if I
so where do you
remember,
think you would rank? Where do you think you would rank it?
it's towards the top for me. So as far as the tier list goes, I'm probably gonna put it at the top, but kind of like lower end of the top for me.
I'm
There
also putting mine in A.
there will be. I put it in S.
I'm putting mine in A.
I think Blue is an S tier. I just think it's kind of a low S tier. Relative to Weezer, because I mean they're again, like I said, not one of my favorite bands ever, but relative to the other stuff from Weezer, I think it's a solid S tier. But there will be future things I like a lot more than Blue.
I will say that Blue is definitely one of their best albums, and it has my favorite Weezer song on it, which is "Only in Dreams." But it's just overall, it's my top two that are in the S rank. It just everything below them is
Yeah,
below
I'm,
them,
I'm
so it's
putting
going in A.
for me the S ranked ones are kind of close to. Or now that I think about it, maybe it's a high A instead of a low S.
See, that's what I was saying.
I think I might actually go with that, but my S will still be bigger than yours because Blue is number 4 on my ranking. So there will be 3 albums in the S tier by the end of this.
Interesting.
Is there any lore? Jackson's like the Weezer lore master expert. Is there any lore we should know about Blue? I know there's some interesting stuff with some of the later ones.
I mean, it's their first album. The guy that produced this album came back to do, yeah, he did Green and he did Everything Will Be Alright. I don't know what else he did. I can't remember. I think he did one more, but I'm struggling to remember. But I think he died like close after everything came out. So like, he's
Well,
not doing it anymore.
I figured.
But yeah, I mean, the rise to fame. It's all the pop evil songs.
Yeah.
It's a classic. Everybody knows all the lore about this one.
So this brings us to the next one, Pinkerton.
Yeah. So
Um,
you're gonna give your first time listener thoughts on this one, Caleb?
well, I think honestly for this one, I think I would let's hear the lore first because it's interesting on this album, and it
Yeah.
informed my opinion on it a lot.
So after Blue came out, Rivers, which is the main singer songwriter dude, I guess just like got tired of like living like the rock star life, and he like after they toured, he quit to go to Harvard. And this album was like written. I mean, a lot of it was written, I think, during Blue era as well. But like he like finalized the album, and it was supposed to be this album, this like big. Everyone knows the story. It's the songs from the Black Hole. This is the big studio concept album.
Yeah.
It's a space opera. But then they were thinking about it, or maybe I don't remember if it was either the band decided not to or the label was like, no, that's like too extravagant, too ambitious. But either way, they decided not to do it and go for like more of like a normal rock album, I guess.
Yeah,
And this
we'll
album
get to
was like
that.
written about his pain through Harvard and stuff, and he was also having surgery on his legs to make one, like, because one of his legs was uneven, so he's like in a ton of pain, living like a boring ass life and at Harvard after you're a rock star, like I would be feeling some shit.
Yeah. So the thing that intrigued me about my first impressions. This was the album that really. This was when I got into it. This one really hit for me. I really enjoyed it because. So I always say that I think any genre of music can be overall good depending on what era you want to look at, because certain genres are better in some eras than others. And this is kind of this album is kind of close in like vibe to the kind of stuff that like my favorite kind of songs from like her current era of music. And so that it was like more familiar, so it was easier for me to get into. And of course, just beyond that, the album was really good. I just thought it was really well done. The only like weird part was that like they had produced this one themselves, and the part some people like the indie like homemade production. For me personally, I don't really prefer it.
I like it,
but I mean it works to an extent, but I will usually prefer more like produced stuff, because sound mixing is like a big deal to me, and sound mixing can be really iffy on like indie stuff. But I remember halfway through the album, I looked it up on Wikipedia because I wanted to read about it, and I was reading about how it like was received really badly when it first came out. And I remember I turned to you and I was like, "What the fuck? Why didn't people like this?" It was so bizarre to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how but it's such a drastic change from the first album. Like, you gotta like, I don't know.
I mean, true, but also like with stuff like that, I'm always of the opinion. It's the same thing I would say about like Zelda 2. Really random comparison, but like it's the second one, and there's only been one other one, so
who cares if it's different?
That's exactly. It's not like they had established a precedent. It was only their first album. I mean, you look at right after that second album came out, you only have two albums. One is one way, one's the other way. That wouldn't have seemed that weird to me. But, this kind of thing, this kind of music, I don't know if it was super popular when this album came out.
Yeah, more of like an emo type thing.
Yeah, that didn't get big until like a few years later, really.
Yeah. I'm not saying it was ahead of its time, because I don't really think it was, because there were other songs like this at the time, like Nirvana and stuff. I don't
know, plus, like,
it's just good, and the deluxe tracks are like phenomenal for no reason. Like, they bang so hard. I think some of the best, like the best deluxe tracks out of any album. Like we out of Weezer, I mean.
Yeah, I just really clicked with this album.
So where are you ranking it?
I'm gonna put this one's going in S tier for me. It's at the bottom. It's at the bottom of the S tier for me.
Middle school me wouldn't forgive future me if I didn't put it in S tier, so I have to.
This is like teenage music. It does.
This is all I listened to in 8th grade, dude.
It does kind of remind me of Nirvana. I like Nirvana a little better for the most part, but yeah, I mean, it was just a really good, well done album. I'm glad now that it gets more recognition, because I definitely didn't get enough when it came out from what I read. When you're on a holiday. But I mean, I guess that leads into in green.
Yeah, this was Caleb's favorite album, actually.
No, fuck you.
And
No, it was
And
not.
basically, after the reception of Pinkerton, I guess Rivers gave up and sold his soul to the devil because like these songs is just Diet Blue. Like you take blue and you like switch it around with like some piss and like combine it, and that's kind of what it is. It's the piss album. I
Oh
mean,
my
I
god.
don't know if your piss is green.
It hasn't been.
I I honestly don't have much to say about this one. Like you just kind of play it and then it's over. So
That was exactly how it
I'm
went.
I'm putting it in C.
I'll get to my ranking
I
in a
literally
minute.
have nothing to say
Let
except
me
the
talk about it a
my
little bit.
my favorite song was "Oh Girlfriend." I do like that song a lot.
Okay, so my first reaction to this, I remember he started playing it, and I didn't like this album at all when I first heard it. I was not into it. I hated it, and it was like towards the bottom of my ranking for a really long time. But as we listened more and as I got more into Weezer, this one actually ended up going up a couple spots for me from being like towards the bottom, because I do think that like there's some good aspects of this album, but the problem,
Yeah,
really,
it's not bad at
really
all.
the
Like
problem that
there's nothing bad.
the problem that comes down to it is that this album doesn't do a single thing exceptionally at all.
There's just no
It
good.
doesn't excel at anything.
It's just there. It just exists. I mean, there are like it has a lot of catchy melodies. Like I'll give it that.
It's really it's just, here's the way I kept saying it in my notes on like multiple songs. A lot of this sounds like background music.
Yeah.
I do want to give shout outs to two songs. Jackson mentioned "Oh Girlfriend." I did like that one. And I really liked Hash Pipe.
Yeah, everyone likes Hash Pipe
Is it
and
really?
Island in the Sun.
I mean, it's still
Two of
kind
their
of
biggest
bland.
songs.
It's still kind of bland, but it's more my style. So like, I don't know, it just clicked with me really well. I did like that one. I didn't like any of the other ones that much. On the ninth song, I wrote, because that I remember that liking that one a little more than the rest of the album, and I wrote in my notes improvement over most of the album, but my brain is rotting. So I mean, I think that kind of says it
That's
all.
real.
I gotta think. Let me look. So in my overall ranking, this one is pretty low. It's actually in my bottom 5.
It's in my bottom 1, 2, 3, 4. It's in my bottom 6. It's my 6th.
I'm trying to think. I think my bottom albums or my bottom ranking is only gonna have 2 albums. Probably looking at this
But
list.
I think I moved it. No, I didn't move it up actually. I lied.
Honestly, I think I'm gonna put this one in D. It's
I
kind of
think
a
it's going to be at the very bottom of my C because it's a step up from what's below it.
For me, it's kind of a high D, but I think this is a D. I mean, this one's really low for me.
That's fair. It's just fun to me. Like I can't sit down and listen to the whole thing a lot, but it's like fun.
Next up, we got Maladroit.
We got Maladroit, which is okay. Fun story for me is that when I got into Weezer, I like pretty much exclusively listened to like the first 3 albums, and like it was like everything else is fake. Except for like Red and some of White. But then like eventually I listened to their whole discography, and like I actually like hated Maladroit for forever. Like I only like the song like Slob.
Yeah.
I think that's the only song I liked for maybe like a year or two. Like it was like a while. And then one day I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna like try listening to it again. And then I listened to it. And I was like, damn, that kind of slapped. So it's up there for me. It's a good one.
Yeah, this one's up there for me too. I did like this one. The thing about this one for me is that like, remember you had mentioned Green Album being like Diet Blue album, and this isn't as bad as that, but it kind of, there's some elements to this one for me listening to it felt kind of like Diet Pinkerton.
Yeah.
But that
It's like
being
kind of like a
said,
mix between like the past 3 projects.
that being
That's the best
said,
way to describe it.
I did think it was really well done. I liked Slob. Burnt Jam was one of my favorites.
Burnt Jam's one of my favorite Weezer songs in general.
So we listened to the deluxe version of this, didn't we?
It doesn't have a deluxe.
Oh, it doesn't? Okay, well, I was gonna say, I was wondering if these were deluxe albums. I didn't mark the deluxe cutoff on my list. I really should have. I remember this. I didn't really like that many of the last songs on this album. It got like worse for me.
Yeah, I like the very last song a lot though.
My note on one of the songs is just ass. Possibilities is what I wrote that on.
Yeah, that song's lame.
The final one, December. I remember liking it, but it was really gay. It was such a gay song.
I do think
I would
like,
listen to it. I would listen to it with my boyfriend. Like that's how gay it is.
But like the highlights of this album are definitely way above like the highlights of Green.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I mean,
For sure.
overall, it's really better than Green. There's no comparison between the two. This was towards the top of my list for a really long time, but towards the end, it got overtaken by a couple things like suddenly. But I still did really like this album. I'm probably gonna put it in a high B tier, I think.
Same. That's exactly where I put mine.
All right, this brings us to what's this album called? I don't actually
Make
remember.
Believe.
Oh,
So
that one.
after Green, you know, they like sellouts. And then they made Maladroit because they wanted to go back to like non-sellout, and they like funded that independently. Like I think that's like the general idea is that like they like didn't let the label fund it, and they did funded it through like their website and stuff and like
Yeah, I
themselves.
remember that.
And then like they went back to the label because they're like little bitch boys, I guess, and like, hey, please give us money to make an album. They're like, okay, make it pop trash again. And I said, okay, yes, and they made this album.
Okay, so two things. First of all, which album? I remember listening to one album. You told me that there was a song written by fans, and
Yeah,
I didn't like it very much. And I'm trying to
it was
remember.
Death to False Metal.
Death of False Metal. Okay, yeah, we'll get to the Death of False Metal later. So I think this is the first one where our opinion diverges. So this album's ranked really, really low for me, and the reason for that, honestly, is that I remember looking back at the end and I could not remember this album at all. Like I seriously didn't remember anything from it. I know Beverly Hills is on it. I don't
No,
I don't remember the song that well, but I remember that it was on it. But I really barely remember listening to this album, which is a bad sign. I mean,
Yeah, it has a couple bangers in my opinion, but overall it's kind of blah.
yeah, hold on. I'm looking at the list here. What did I like? Some of the I liked the last song was my favorite one if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's my favorite as well. I also like the second song, Perfect Situation,
That one's better.
and a couple other ones.
Some of these songs I hated. We Are All on Drugs I thought was bad.
Yeah,
More background music.
elevator music.
My Best Friend that I wrote that.
Yeah,
that was
that's
lame.
not real.
I remember I specifically was angry at that was like the third or fourth Hold Me because it
I like Hold Me actually.
to me it was just like the whole time it sounded like the lead up to a good part of a song and that never came.
It came eventually. What are you talking
No,
about?
I just didn't. I
You're
didn't
wrong.
like that one either. Yeah, this was really low for me. I can barely remember it, and
All right, where are you putting it?
for me, this goes in the bottom tier.
Damn,
This
I'm
is
putting it in D.
this was my second least favorite album that we listened
Wow,
to.
really? It's not even in my bottom 3.
Yeah, it's my second least. I couldn't really stand this album to be honest.
That's fair. It's okay.
I just
Also grew up listening to it.
that helps a little bit. I just don't remember almost any of it.
I see the ecstasy.
Anyways, now we get to Red, which I also had interesting.
Where they started going experimental.
Oh,
And
no.
we listened to the deluxe edition, obviously. And then, yeah.
So what's-
I really like this one. This is what I grew up listening to.
Yeah. So what's the lore on this one? Because honestly, I forgot.
I mean, not much. They just, like, I don't know, Rivers became a good person around this time. Like, as you can tell from the Gay album, otherwise known as Make Believe.
Yeah.
The Rainbow album, as you would call it. And then, I don't know, he just, like, stopped being an asshole and was like, hey, let the, like, other members come perform songs. And, like, write and perform songs on it.
Yeah. So
And it didn't really work.
we'll get to that. So Red album I had an interesting experience with too because in the beginning this was towards my bottom. I didn't like it at all. Or no, that's not true. I liked parts of it, but it didn't really click with me. This was another one that as we listened to more Weezer, it like resonated with me more and I ended up liking it better over time. It's kind of in the middle of my overall ranking.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't love it, but there's a lot of songs on here that I really like. So let's talk about the thing you mentioned a second ago, other people like performing and writing songs. Let's get that out of the way. So those were like the songs towards the end, right? That whole grouping. Okay. I remember writing hold on. I'm trying to remember which of these
So
were
basically
actually
how it works is like I think the first 5 songs are all rivers, and then like 6, or no, it's 6, 8. Oh my God, 6, 7, 8? Is it? No, it's 7, 8, 9. Like songs 7, 8, and 9 are all written by like the other guitarist, the bassist, and the drummer.
Yeah. So that was. Hold on. Let me look at where that was. So it was
I know I know the song names, but I can't remember where they are.
I have them listed. So like Thought I Knew.
Yeah, that's the Brian song, and then Automatic is the drummer's song, Pat, and then the bassist Scott is I forgot what it's called, Cold Dark World,
Old Dark World.
which
Okay,
is like
so
the worst song on the
great.
album. Yeah, I hate that song.
I actually didn't hate that song. I kind
I
of like that
despise that
one.
song.
I did not like Thought I Knew.
I don't mind that song.
I didn't really like it, and I also didn't really like Automatic.
But let's talk about these deluxe songs,
So
because
this is
Pig,
what
Miss Sweeney, and the Spider are all gas, and King,
this is what made the album for me.
they're all so
The
good.
deluxe songs are gas. So
But also Pork and Beans and like Troublemaker on the main album are also all gas. And Dreamin'.
I like Pork and Beans. I think. Well, I remember liking it. I honestly, the note that I wrote down, I don't really know what it means, but what was the other one you mentioned? I like Dreamin'.
Dreamin'. Yeah, Dreamin's good. Angel and the One is also a highlight.
I like that.
It's
one.
it's a good album, dude. It has a lot of bangers.
Yeah, so the deluxe tracks were just fantastic. Pig was awesome.
They definitely made the album go up a few
The
slots.
Spider is maybe my favorite song on the album.
Really?
I love.
I think my
like
favorite's
that.
Pig.
King was really good. The final deluxe track, it's easy. I didn't like it as much as the other deluxe tracks, but I did still really like it. Yeah, so Red Album, I ended up liking it over time a lot more than I thought I would.
Where do you think you're gonna stick it?
It's definitely better than Green Album, but I put it right below Maladroit, which I put Maladroit kind of as a like a high B. So
Okay, yeah, I put Red as a low B.
you know, I think I'd have to do the same. Really, looking at this, it's a good
Are our
album.
charts the same so far?
No, they're a little different.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm looking at your screen.
Okay, bitches, Weezer and it's Weezy.
After Red Album.
We have the best Weezer album to ever exist.
Don't say that.
So basically, you know how they sold out a little bit ago with this album? They decided let's make 2000s pop music and made this album.
So, Raditude. Here's the thing. I had been warned about Raditude by Jackson even before we ever came up with this idea. He had told me it was their worst album. He would hold up like the album, and be like, "Hey, this is our worst one." So, I knew it was gonna be bad. Like, he had warned me I wasn't gonna this was not gonna be good. And we start listening to it, and I'm just like, "Good lord, this is terrible." And like before I knew it, the album was over. It really kind of flew by. It was really bad.
Let's talk about the Lil Wayne feature.
We'll get to that in a second. I forgot how bad this album was. So, first things first, that I have to get out of the way right off the bat. This is my least favorite album for sure in their whole list.
Really, it's my second to least.
I thought it was terrible. There was almost no redeeming qualities. It was just the worst, and it never got better. Like, there was no good section of the album. It never really got better.
It has 2 good songs in my opinion.
And it oh my god, yeah, there's some good stuff on this, but there's no like good part of the album.
I agree.
It's all just overall really bad. So I just kind of sat there miserable for its entire runtime.
Me too. Okay, it's going in E, obviously.
It's going in E. I have some
Okay.
other thoughts about it.
Oh no.
I remember I like Tripping Down the Freeway.
Yeah, that's my favorite, and Put Me Back Together. Those
Yeah,
are my 2.
Put Me Back Together is kind of like movie music, but
but it's good.
it's just
When
it's well
I
done.
fall down.
So many of these are dead. The Girl Got Hot.
It's also a notable thing to say that a lot of these songs were like co-written,
Yeah, that's
and
what I was
also
thinking
the same
about.
on Hurley. The same on Hurley as well.
Yeah, so they brought other people here. Like you mentioned, the Lil Wayne solo. I don't even remember which song that was in.
It was in I Can't Stop Partying.
Holy
I
shit, you're
can't
right.
stop. Do you remember that
Stop
one?
singing it. I don't like.
Do you
that.
remember I'm Your Daddy?
Yeah.
Is that your favorite?
this album.
like just like look at the song titles and you already know what's happening.
Exactly. I also liked I know, I guess it was just those two. In the Mall was hilarious to me.
Because the instrumental's kind of banging, and
Sounds
then
so
it's just like in the mall.
epic.
I was in the
Um,
mall.
Yeah, one of these songs I wrote sounded like a song for like the Sonic the Hedgehog movies.
Okay. Oh man.
Okay, I really don't have much else to say about it. I mean, the album's bad.
God.
You know, we're done.
You got the fix for what it is you wanna hear coming through the frequencies.
So next, this is
Next
not,
is my least favorite Weezer album.
yeah, and it's my third least favorite.
It's just so boring. There's like I actually do like the song co-written that you don't like by the fan or written by the fans. Like, what's it called? Turn Up the Radio. I like that song. I think that's
don't.
maybe one of the only two songs I like.
I remember it getting better as it went, but I don't think
It's kind of
it was,
cringe, but
I don't
like
think it was like a good song. Yeah, most of this was pretty. This album was like mostly like either really mid songs and then a couple that were just bad. So this was the lore behind this one, if I remember correctly. This is like a B-sides album.
yeah.
So you can tell. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I like the second song a lot. I Know What You're Loving. Didn't like almost any of the other ones. The last song I apparently didn't even write notes for. I have it listed here. There's nothing written.
That's how boring it was. You just forgot it ended.
Exactly. I actually remember we were listening to this. We would listen to this in the car while doing errands. I didn't realize this album ended because there had been like 3 songs that I thought were like the same song still, like in a row. So I didn't know we were at the end already. I mean, that's how much it all just flew by. Yeah, I mean, this is at the
Where
bottom.
are you putting it?
It's definitely going at the bottom. I personally kind of like it more than Make Believe just because of how good like the 2 songs are that I like.
Interesting.
That's the only reason. But yeah, it's really bad. Yeah, I don't have anything
But-
else to say about it.
But next is Hurley, my
This-
beloved.
Yeah, this song's interesting. Well, this one's interesting. I don't really like this album much. I think this was one of our most divergent opinions. It's not.
I love this album.
It's not super low for me, but I don't really like it.
I like it.
It's evil. Yeah, but not in like a fun way. Like
It's like skate punk. It's
Here's-
like I don't know. It's just stupid.
Here's what I wrote that I wholeheartedly believe. This album, it sounds like a Weezer version of Raditude. So like,
A good version of Raditude.
there's more Weezer character and energy in it, and I appreciate that. But I still don't think the songs are like that good.
That's fair.
I mean, it's just, yeah. Some of these are hilarious, though. Yeah, so, like, some of these are not bad at all.
Oh, we have to talk about Where's My Sex.
I was going to mention Where's My Sex. I did like that one. That song's just goofy and silly, and I like
It's
it.
banging. Yeah, that's a controversial opinion that we both have that
That's
we like
fine.
it.
I liked Brave New World.
It's banging. Brave New World's pretty good. So is Memories. So is Ruling Me. So is I don't know, man. It's just all bangers.
Memories, I wasn't
Except for
crazy
the
about.
deluxe tracks are kind of lame.
We'll get to that in a second. Time Flies, I didn't like that. I thought that sucked.
Yeah, Time Flies is really bad. Smart Girls is like pretty good. Runaway's good. I also like Unspoken and Trainwrecks. I don't know, man. I just like most of the main album.
I don't really like Trainwrecks much. As far as the
Really?
deluxe goes, All My Friends Are Insects. I love that song.
I'm gonna go ahead and put that in B. Yeah,
I'll-
All My Friends Are Insects are gas. Is gas.
I'll rank it in a minute because I like the Represent like rocked out mix,
I don't.
but what I didn't like, this is a cover. It was like a live recording. I don't even know if it counts, but he showed me the cover of Viva La Vida, which I wanted to listen to because I like the original song a lot. It's one of my favorite like Coldplay songs, and good God, that cover was really bad. I don't understand why it was so horrible. I was shocked by it, by how bad it was, especially since the actual cover album they did, I ended up liking. But yeah, as far as like overall ranking, it's not super low. I liked it better than Green, and I did like it better than the cover album. But I think I'm gonna have to put it in C. I just didn't really like it much.
Real.
Take me back to the shack, back to the strat with the lightning strap.
Next up, we have Everything Will Be Alright in the End. I do not remember what this song's about, or this album.
This is kind of a low-key a concept album, but like through YouTube videos.
Nice.
And it has like 3 major themes. I don't know. I can't remember what they are. It's like love, like I know one's love, one's like fatherhood, and one's like I don't remember.
Yeah, so this isn't one
Anyway.
of my like top 5 like favorite albums, but I do really like this one.
It's
I thought
it's
it was-
really good.
It's definitely up there. There's a lot of really good stuff in here. So first
It's
of
a
all,
banger.
I have to mention the 3-part thing they have at the end.
Yeah, the Future Scope trilogy is what it's called.
It's like one of my favorite things Weezer's ever done. I really like it.
Yeah, it's good.
It kind of like the whole album's good, but that is what really kicks it like up a notch for me. Yeah, I like a lot of these songs. There's really none that I think are bad.
There's only one that I think is like mid, and then the rest I consider like good to great to like amazing.
Yeah, I really. Yeah,
It's a pretty it goes and it goes by fast and it's good and there's no boring.
It's just a pretty good album. Honestly, I think this one is probably gonna be I think for me this is gonna go in a low A.
Yeah, same. That's exactly what I was thinking.
All the other things I would put in A, I like more, but it's gonna be on the lower end of that. I mean, I really enjoyed it.
I didn't like this. This is the same as Maladroit for me, where I like when I first heard it, I like hated it pretty much except for a couple songs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I just wasn't accustomed to the sound yet. I also didn't like Pinkerton the first time I heard it. But you know, I just grew accustomed to it over time, and it was like, it's still my most sought after like record. I want to like own the record of it really bad because it's like really expensive now.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a great album. My favorite couple songs are Foolish Father, Cleopatra. I don't know. I also like Ain't Got Nobody and the Future Scope trilogy, obviously.
Yeah.
But I also like some like the lesser songs, like I don't have it pulled up. I'm just trying to remember the names.
I liked I really like all the Eulogy for a Rock Band. I like that one.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to remember.
Back to the Shack. I liked. I've had it up
Yeah,
here.
and Da Vinci. And honestly, I really like The British Are Coming, even though it's kind of cringe.
It is kind of cringe, but it's kind of like a vibe too. Like it's just good.
Me When the British Are Coming.
Any other notes on this one? I don't really have too much to say about it.
It was produced by the same guy that did Blue and Yellow. Yeah, or Green. Oh my god,
Yellow.
Blue and Green. It was produced by the same guy that did Blue and Green. It's like the last album that they all recorded like together, you know, like playing at the same time, and they haven't done that since, which is kind of sad. But
Damn,
you know.
they should. So then next up, we got White Album.
Holy shit.
So, this album, I remember being like surprised that it was so good. This is one of my favorite ones for sure.
This is my ultimate favorite Weezer album. So
It's-
like everyone already knows where it's going. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it there.
It's pretty high up there for me. I think it's my number 2. I really like this one. There's some kind of like, there's no bad songs really. Or wait, if I remember correctly, there actually is one bad song.
Ooh, you think there's a bad song?
Or am I wrong?
I
Trying to
don't.
see. No, never mind. I was thinking. Oh,
Unless we're talking about Deluxe and the remix, but I don't count that as a real song, the Jacked Up remix.
well, I have that one listed, but I don't hate that remix. I was
I
thinking
do.
of
It's literally garbage. It's the worst. It
I
makes
was-
my ears bleed.
I was thinking of a song from a different album we'll get to where it's like the one song that I don't like. But yeah, I really like this album. There's parts of these songs on this album that are kind of cringe, but it's
Yeah, like some of the lyrics and stuff. It's very like Beach Boys inspired, you know, very like,
yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
like choir boy fun. I don't know. But the melodies on this album are some of like the best melodies that Rivers has ever written. And
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
for
bridges
sure.
and stuff, like the Jacked Up bridge, like the "You're the sun that I'm orbiting, I burn in your heat, supernova and cosmic dust, we burn galaxies or whatever the fuck
Yeah.
it is. Like, I don't know, gas. Like bro's like Mozart, like sitting down, like writing with the fire quill. You know what I'm saying?
It's insane, like how good. So that's the thing. The
And the
instrumentals,
production.
the instrumentals and the production, like the music of it, is what really carries this album to the top.
Yeah, it's not the
so
lyrics. It is not the lyrics.
No, it's not the lyrics. Although this was, I should mention, I told Jackson, he was kind of surprised by this when I mentioned it. In the earlier albums, I don't think Rivers is a very good singer, or at least he doesn't sound like
Yeah,
it
he's
in
not.
a lot of them.
I like his voice, but I don't think he's like a good singer. I mean,
it
I think
was-
he is now.
Yeah, that's the thing. So, like, in the old albums, his singing was always the weakest link of the sound to me. I just didn't think he sounded very good even when the instrumentals were made.
Even like in Pinkerton, where he's like kind of screaming and stuff,
The screaming's kind of better because it's kind of hard to do that.
and like
raw.
Hurley.
But like, I really don't. Even in Pinkerton, I think his singing isn't great. But this was around the time that his singing started to click with me really well.
Nice, yeah.
But the lyrics are a little on this album, but the music is so well done. This is my number 2. This is a really good album.
It's like the lyrics are either phenomenal or like trash. Like there's no in between.
Yeah.
Because you look at what Thank God for Girls, that like the lyrics are literally about like this like girl making you cannolis. And then you look at like King of the World, where it's like a love letter to his wife, like to promise to never leave her, and it's like, oh my god, like what, bro.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think a lot of the like critical response to this album was like that it was like Rivers is now like a 45-year-old man like writing about like being a teenage boy.
Yeah, and
I mean, honestly, this album is not even as much like that as some of his other stuff is. Some of his other stuff's a lot worse.
yeah, I mean, I agree kind of to an extent with that criticism. There's a vibe of that, but it doesn't stop the music from being so good.
Also, the only other notable thing I have to say about this album is that it's produced by Jake Sinclair, which is the dude that did. I believe he did OK Human. Oh my god, let me look it up. I'm pretty sure he did OK Human.
Dude, I can't wait to get to OK Human. But we got a couple albums before
Wait.
that.
Yeah, okay, I was right. So he did OK Human, and he also helped with some of the seasons. I don't remember which ones exactly, but yeah.
All right.
That's also a notable thing to say. And also the one Susie Shin is the one that stepped in to do vocals on this. And she's done
remember that.
vocals for Rivers. She's done vocals for Rivers on Teal, OK Human, and all the seasons as well. And she like did Van Weezer completely like herself. Like she did all the instruments and the vocals.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's a great album. Next up, we have Pacific Daydream.
This is their first just straight pop album. Caleb, what do you think about this one?
So I think this was another album, if I remember correctly, that I didn't like as much as you.
Yeah.
This isn't like a least favorite or anything, but this is pretty low for me. I really don't like this album, even though I don't think any of the songs really, except for maybe one or two, are bad. It's just that I don't like almost any of them. They're so bland.
I also like didn't thought it was pretty bland for a while, but like looking back and especially re-listening to them with you, like I really like a lot. Like I don't know, just a lot of the songs I really like. That's also because a lot of these songs are like white album demos just turned into pop songs. That's probably the biggest reason, to be honest, just because I love the white album era, like in demos. But it's just a great album, and the production's like pretty good, except for the drums. The drums sound like total like crap on this album.
Yeah, the drums were bad. I remember you pointed it out to me and I couldn't unhear it. But yeah, this is one of my least favorites. I don't like this one. It's not at the bottom.
Where are you putting it?
Well, it's below Green Album.
Really, I'm putting it right above Green Album for me and see.
So for me, it's right down here. Yeah, I really just didn't. It didn't work for me.
That's okay. I forgive you.
Mission makes you look pretty ugly.
So what did surprisingly work for me? Let's talk about Teal album.
Yeah, so how this came to be is there was this Twitter account called Weezer like Cover Africa, and they just like posted a lot, I guess, and got Weezer's attention. and it was either 2016 or 2017 or 2018, one of those years. They like saw it and did a cover of Africa and released it, and like immediately within like a week or 2 weeks, it was like #1 on iTunes.
Nice.
And they're like, holy shit, like we can make a cover. So they just like made a cover album of 80 songs, and maybe a few 90s question mark.
Yeah, so
But,
I
yeah.
remember reading. I was doing research on some of these on Wikipedia, and I remember reading about this one that it was kind of a last minute decision to even make, because this was like, I remember reading that this was released in like the lead up to Black Album, and it was kind of just like out of nowhere. So I don't know how much thought they put into this album really, but I was shocked by how much I actually enjoyed it. So let's talk about Africa first.
Africa's probably the best song.
I would say,
But it is,
easily
but it does play like in McDonald's everywhere. Like any McDonald's you go to, it's playing Weezer Africa. This is true. It has happened to me multiple times.
So it's funny to imagine.
It's horrible.
It is their best one though. I mean, I have a feeling based on the way this album was produced, I think this cover was probably put together with a bit more like thought put into it than the other ones. But it just fits really well. I mean, his voice is so perfect for that, and he nails it. This album is some of my favorite singing from him, as a matter of fact.
Interesting.
It's great. Africa's great, and then really a lot of these are pretty good. I really liked Everybody Wants to Rule the World. The singing in Take on Me was really impressive, even though I wish it was a little more unique from the original. Same thing for Sweet Dreams. I think is also kind of too similar to the original.
Yeah.
I didn't really like the last couple, and that's the only like downside for me.
Where do you think you're placing it?
It's pretty high for me. So here's the thing, musically, I'd probably put it in B, but I kind of have to put it a little lower because I can't give them a ton of credit.
Yeah. So put it in like high C.
Yeah, they didn't write the music, so
I think I'm sticking it right here, dude. Because
I'm
like it's
C.
not bad, but it has no soul. It literally has no soul.
No, it does not.
And it's just not Weezer, man.
For me, to me, it's like the music sounds as good as it possibly could given the circumstances of its creation. Like it's well done on a technical level, but I can't give it any points creatively. But yeah, that knocks it down like one place for me. But musically, I like it enough to put it up here.
If you wanna test me.
Next we get the Black Album.
Honestly, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna make, or you keep talking. I'm gonna make another tier real quick.
You're gonna make another tier?
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you need one. I don't actually know how to make another tier, or if you
Me
can.
neither. I'm trying to figure it out. Figured it out.
Yeah, I don't think I need another tier really.
I do, because I'm doing something evil real quick.
Well, all I was gonna say, Black Album was the album they'd actually, if I remember correctly, the one they'd been teasing, like during this era.
Yeah.
And I really like this album. It's like up there for me, kind of. It's not like one of my favorites, but it's like pretty solid.
Honestly, when it came out, like, okay, so everyone in the Weezer community like hates this album.
Mm-hmm.
They think it's like horrible. I really like it personally. I don't know, like the first time I heard it, I was like, man, like some of these songs, like I don't know, some of them were kind of cringe, but like a lot of them are pretty good. Like, and just the production is really clean for no reason.
Yeah, I really like some of these songs. Living in LA, I like.
That's my favorite, I think.
I liked High as a Kite. I really liked. This song's cringy, but I like California Snow. I know it's a
Me
cringy
too.
song, but I like it. I think it's fun. The Prince Who Wanted Everything.
Yeah, that's the worst song Weezer in this era of Weezer, in my opinion.
This song
It's
has
just so
like,
bad.
It has like a punchable face, you know.
But also Byzantine, which follows it, like it's not a Weezer song, but it's so good.
Yeah, I like Byzantine. Byzantine's pretty good. The Prince Who Wanted Everything is terrible. Like it's
Yeah.
It was so frustrating to listen to. God, I hated it. But it's really,
But it's the only bad song on this album to me.
Yeah, for me, it's really the only black mark. It's kind of a big one, but still. This one's not super high for me. I don't think it excels at that many things.
Yeah.
But it's
I think I enjoy this one more than you. Where are you putting it?
pretty well done. I'm trying to see. I like it more than Hurley, for sure.
Uh-huh.
I honestly think it's probably gonna be the bottom of the B tier, like the far bottom.
I put mine at the top of C.
All right.
Drops of water, flood cascading from the sky.
So let's discuss OK Human.
Yeah. You can go first. Just your first
So-
impression.
I don't remember the lore of this album other than that it was made to fill time while Van Weezer was being
Well,
made.
they were. It was gonna be their album after Van Weezer because they were about to tour, but then COVID shut down the world.
Yeah, so I don't remember the full, like everything about this album, but I know that they had basically been wanting to do an orchestral project for a bit. This is my favorite album. So
I know.
I was listening to it the other day. I love orchestral music. It's actually my favorite kind of music. And it's just done really, really well here. It's such a good album. Oh my god, like it's just so good. I like everything about it. I love the instrumentals. I like the actual songwriting, which isn't always great in Weezer.
Yeah, it's all beautiful and very mature. It's basically the spiritual successor to like Pinkerton.
Yeah, I didn't dislike any songs. The only negative note I wrote is that some songs don't really sound like Weezer, but that's kind of it's kind of subjective if you consider that an issue.
Yeah,
But not all this album really sounds like Weezer, really. But I think everything about it's just done really well.
I went ahead and just put it at the top of A.
I'm putting it in S. This is, my favorite.
Yeah, I
one.
know it's your favorite.
By far, it just works so well for me.
It is really good, and also like River's hair and mustache during this period are just immaculate. Like he looks so majestic, dude.
So then we get this. This one was kind of a reverse situation. I was excited for this album, Van Weezer. Whenever, like beforehand, I'd been looking forward to it when I was told what it was, because it's like 80s rock, and that's like my favorite era of rock and roll. So I was disappointed because I really don't like this album very much. It's not one of my least favorite, but it's kind of towards the bottom area.
Me
for
too.
me.
Me too. It's in my lower half.
Now there is good stuff. There's some actual really good songs on here, but
I need some of that and beginning of the end.
beginning at the end was pretty good. I liked Blue Dream.
I hate that song with the crazy train riff. I hate it.
I like that one. The end of the game I like.
I like that one as well.
I like the final song, Precious Metal Girl. But some of these were bad. I didn't like the opening two songs I was really indifferent to, didn't really like them. There was Sheila, which is kind of just like background music to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not the best album ever. The production's fantastic, we should mention.
Yeah, Susie Shin did a really good job, to be honest. It sounds really good. That's the best part of this whole album is like the guitars actually sound banging.
Yeah, the production is immaculate, but
Couldn't save it.
No, the songs are just that's the real issue. The songs are just not that good.
Where do you think you're putting it?
So I do like this one a little more than Hurley.
Uh-huh.
But I would have to put it definitely below Black Album. I think it's gonna be in C.
See, I don't really like this album. I'm putting it at the bottom of D. I think it's worse than Green Album. Because I actually enjoy listening to Green Album. Van Weezer, I only enjoy like half of it.
That's a fair perspective.
Everything above, I think Green and above, like I can sit down and listen to and like enjoy it. And everything below Green, I have trouble doing that.
I can't really do that for Green, to be honest.
I can do it for
kinda
Green just because, I don't know, that's classic Weezer, dude.
It is a kind of a classic Weezer sound. I just check out during so much of that album.
It's okay. That's what it's meant for. It's like working music. It's like line cook music.
So then we get to Seasons.
Yeah,
Which is an interesting.
it was a good project. Like it was a good idea. I like it's a lot more in depth than people realize. It has like, if you would have seen these like nerd spreadsheets that Rivers has done, you would be like, your brain would explode. He came out with like a religion for each one, like a time period, like a person. I don't know. There's just like a lot of stuff, dude.
Yeah, you showed me some of like really creative stuff they'd done. This is a really interesting project. I remember Jackson mentioned Seasons a couple times during our listening, but it wasn't until when we got towards it that he told me what it was, and I just thought it sounded like a really interesting project. So the thing about Seasons for me is that me personally, it gets better as it goes on. Jackson's is a little more mixed. For me, it gets better as it goes on. And so I guess the more unfortunate part of that is that Spring is probably my least favorite of these.
Spring is not my least favorite, but it's my second least favorite.
I like the production on this album. I don't really think the songwriting is amazing.
It feels like Spring. It's like Hobbit music. It's like Hobbit music. That's what this is.
Yeah, it does feel like Spring. It's very, kind of whimsical and relaxed.
I think it's a good time.
I mean,
When it came out, I started like being intently Weezer fan around like Black Album. Like Black Album was the first album that like I'd listened to like day one it came out.
Yeah.
And I was because I became I think like I like listened to the entire discography around then, and I was whenever Okay Human dropped that was what made me like fall in love with Weezer essentially. Like just like because like I was like experienced like the hype train for that album like on the subreddit and whatever like Discord, and the seasons were kind of the same way. So like I was really excited for Spring building up, especially like because it was right after COVID. And, my life was in shambles already.
Yeah.
And I was just had something to look forward to, and I really enjoyed it. Like I think a lot of it's pretty cringe, especially the lyrics, but like.
Yeah.
Including the Vivaldi parts, like I love it all. I don't know, man. It's a pretty good one. I'm putting it in
It's a pretty good time. I do enjoy it. It's just
I put it in C in between Red and Hurley.
It's not that this album is bad at all for me. It's just that it doesn't really excel at anything for me.
Yeah, it's not very unique. It just feels
It's
like
just not
a lot
as
like
good.
especially we have to discuss. There's like each EP has like a song that is like it like rips a Vivaldi melody essentially like directly.
Yeah.
And the
You
one
should
on this
also
album is whimsical, and then also every EP has like a song that's meant to be like a TikTok single, like a very promotable basic song. And this album's is like really bad. It just sounds like YouTube free music,
We should mention, regardless of quality, on pretty much every single Seasons album, the TikTok song is like the worst one, pretty consistently. Even the better ones.
Really? That's one of my favorites on Winter.
I don't know. I mean, I'll have to go back. Or I did like the one on Winter now that I think about it. But I think that's actually the only one that I really liked that much.
Same.
Seasons was pretty bad. Like the TikTok song. The actual album overall is pretty good. I'm gonna put it at the top of my C. I did not like it as much as Black. It's a good time. I just don't have much like special to really say about it.
Real. Moving on to Summer, which is the most interesting one. Because the songs okay, so how whenever this was announced, I kind of I imagined he was going to do just like White Part 2, cuz like that just seemed like the easiest thing to do. But I was actually really proud of like him for like trying a different kind of summer sound. This is kind of like a more like scorched earth sound. I don't know, just like angry, violent summer. And the thing that definitely holds this one back is the production, because it's like all fake.
Yeah, so I remember reading, and you told me a little bit about this. This album's production was kind of like rushed because obviously
4 albums in 1 year, yeah.
Yeah, so this album was basically just all Rivers. I mean, they just didn't have time to fit it in with the other ones. So the production is just, it really knocks it down. All the songwriting I like. I don't dislike any song on this album.
Me too.
But it just doesn't come together as well as it could have.
It is kind of a banger though.
It is kind of a banger. I like it more than Spring, but
I like it just right below Spring.
It just doesn't, it just doesn't come together as well as it could have. The TikTok song on this one's not the worst ever, but I wasn't really a big fan of it. I like Red Album better, but I like it better than Black.
Real.
Nobody ever loved you.
All right, so Autumn is kind of like the dance rock one. Autumn's my favorite season, like in general. Like I just want to say that, and this one is very autumn-y. Honestly, like each project is really oh well, except for Summer, it's really good at like becoming the like season. Like it feels like the season it's meant for. Like Autumn is like, or I mean not Autumn. Summer could have been that well, like if the production was better. But like it still kind of feels like scorched earth type of thing. But like Autumn especially, Autumn and Spring and Winter are really good at doing this, like creating the environment.
Yeah, they're
And
great at
I don't
it.
know, Autumn is just, dude. I love Autumn. It has some of the best Weezer songs like that since like White for me and Okay Human. Like Can't Dance, Don't Ask Me, Get Off on the Pain. Like all of them are bangers. Like I even like the end of the album with like the experimental stuff. Like Taste Like Pain is my favorite Vivaldi song.
Yeah.
Even though it's like really short. Run Raven Run's really good. Should She Stay or Should She Go's really good. They're all good. Even the like single pop song is pretty good in my opinion. It's not. I mean, it's the worst one, but it's still a banger. It's a banger front to back. I wish it was longer.
It is the worst song on the album, but it's still a pretty good one. This album's really good. This is my second favorite of the seasons.
It's my favorite season.
I really don't have much to complain about with it. It's just a really, really well done album, and it's towards the top for me. This one I actually like really high up there. I'm gonna put this one in A.
Dude, I think you put it in, you put it in just I put mine right in front of everything.
That's what I meant to do.
So we have I think we have our top pretty similar except for Okay Human.
Yeah, I like it better than everything. I don't like it as much as Blue. But then we get to
Winter. Yeah.
This one's my favorite.
I really like
Winter's
Winter.
My favorite.
You can give your thoughts first since you really liked it.
It's just really good. I mean, Winter's my favorite season. It fit the vibe perfectly. The TikTok song on this one's actually really good.
I Want a Dog is phenomenal.
It's just awesome. Basketball is like a Christmas song, basically. So is Dark Enough to See the Stars is also just like Christmas music, essentially. It's just really good. The last song I remember really liking. It was kind of different.
Yeah, Deep in Dreamless Sleep.
But it was pretty cool. I just really like this album. I don't have much else to say about it. I just think it's really well done.
Where were you putting that one?
Above Autumn, still below Blue. I think Blue is better than all the seasons, but it's definitely up there. I really like that one.
I put mine in B, right above Maladroit. I think everything's better.
Winter breaks my top 5. It's the only season that does that.
Oh wait, I was looking at my screen instead of yours. I was like, what? Ranking, I can see your point on all of them.
They're not super different.
Yeah, they are, but our lists are fairly different.
Yeah, I mean they've kind of like the way that everything's kind of generally grouped together is similar, but there's some differences in like the specific order for sure. And also like, I'm not a huge Weezer guy. I'm not a huge fan of their style of music as a whole. Like I like it, but it's not really my thing. So several of these albums don't click as well for me as they do for you.
Yeah, that's true. This is like my favorite type of music, like kind of power pop. Like I love Ozma, Third Eye Blind, that kind of.
Yeah, so I mean, but overall, I did like their discography. It was very good. It was way too much for 5 days. Like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, it was a lot, but we did it.
But we did.
We also listened to we listened to the Christmas EP as well, both of them.
Yeah, I didn't rank them. I didn't really have much to say about them. They're
Christmassy.
Yeah, they're all right. I think there's some good stuff on there. I don't really have anything to say about them. It's just Weezer Christmas music. Yeah, I mean, that's my ranking. I don't know if I have anything more to add on this subject.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, it was certainly interesting. I haven't like sat down and listened to them front to back in like at least a year or two.
That was the really interesting part, was that you showed me your ranking from before we listened.
Yeah, it was a lot different. The last time I did this was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, the list was back from like 2020 or 2021, so it was very different from now, which was, it was interesting. And I think it was different from mine too. It was like a third perspective.
Yeah, it was weird. But yeah, our first video was about Weezer. Don't make fun of us. You should subscribe. We're gonna have some funny stuff coming.
I would like to do this again, but with something that
we're gonna definitely listen to something else and rank that. But also, whenever Weezer comes out with more projects, we have to update our list.
We do have to update our list. Whenever we talk about individual albums, we could we could probably go a little more in depth. But yeah, I definitely like to return to Weezer, and I definitely like to do this again, but with something new. I've been thinking of ideas. I had one that I don't know if Jackson could make it through that we discussed.
Oh yeah. But our next video should be coming out either 1 week from today, the day this comes out, or 2 weeks from the day this comes out. So stay tuned. And
I don't know when this is going up.
yeah, we'll see.
but
It will go up at some point.
I figured that part. All right. Later.
Bro said later.
Why not?
So is this for all right later? And then the beat drop.
Yeah. do that.
No.
That would be hilarious. All right, later.
Oh, how should we actually end the video though? Thanks for watching.
I figured it would have been over by now.
Well, I'll just edit it.
I was gonna say, don't keep all this in.
Thanks for watching. Come on my balls.
Yeah, let's use that.
Thanks for watching Weezy. Oh wait, I got one. I got one. Thanks for watching Weezer. I hardly know her.